Hello, hello. Welcome to Wednesday night Techthusiasm hangout, live stream, live podcast, all those good things all rolled together in one. I got some interesting stuff to talk about, some things that I'll be making some discrete content about as well, some edited videos coming soon. But figured maybe jump into some of it live, take some questions, take some comments, take some topics. So as you're coming in, please, of course, hit the like button. Sound off in the comments. Let me know who's out there. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what interesting things you may have done in your home theater, your hi-fi, and your audio video spaces here recently. As just one little housekeeping item, I should probably comment. I know I kind of whiplash around on some different days and times with the lives. For a while there, we were doing these on the weekends. I really do like doing them on the weekends, preferably, but I will be indisposed coming up for the majority of the next several weekends, in fact. So at least probably for the remainder of the summer, I would guess it's more likely that live streams, live podcast recordings, and all of that like this will hit on this Wednesday night, 10 o'clock time, hoping to also line up some collaborators, some special guests, and all of that as well as we're going forward. I did reach out to Brad tonight. We were texting earlier today, but at the last minute we weren't able to pull kind of a combined stream together. But I do hope to get back on with some of the other fun faces that I've co-streamed and had on the show before. So I advertised this one with a couple specific topics. One that's kind of a surprise, I think, to the channel because I haven't made any mention of it at all, really, leading up to actually getting it done on the 4th yesterday. And that is a full, essentially like a pro calibration of my theater, of my JVC NX7 projector. So we'll talk about that, kind of what led up to that, the experience of doing it, take a look at some of the results. I also wanted to draw some attention to a couple things in the Kaleidescape realm, particularly a price drop that I was made aware of that is essentially effective immediately. So that's pretty awesome. I still have, I almost dropped them right out of the case. I still have the full cal Bathys headphones here. If anybody has questions about those, I have been, I'd say, using them on and off since last week's live stream, where I unboxed them and opened them up. I've got a much better feel kind of for what they do and how they work. I've put out just a couple of shorts so far, but the actual edited review-ish video or kind of first take video, that'll be out tomorrow at the usual time. I think I usually publish in the 11 o'clock hour. So a couple shout outs. Welcome, folks. Supernova, good evening. Good evening. Charlie B, hello. Yep, Northeast Ohio. Awesome. Another Midwesterner there. Rob, welcome, Rob. Rob always misses the lives and messages after. He's like, oh, I'll have to watch it after the fact, but Rob's here. So awesome. Let me know who's out there. Let me know what's going on. Let me know what you've done in your hi-fi in home theater spaces. Question, kind of pre-show question here. JPA Art, is there a difference in picture quality when connecting a Blu-ray player or an Apple TV through a high-end soundbar versus directly to an HDMI port on a TV? My general answer to that would be there shouldn't be. No, there shouldn't be. If there is a considerable difference, something either may be wrong or maybe more historically, like the HDMI version of the port, might not be up to snuff for what you're looking to pass through it. We had that like HDMI 1.4 to 2.0. That was like a bigger deal. We're talking about video sources here, not gaming systems. So if it was a gaming system, then there may be a difference, particularly if you wanted to use HDMI 2.1 features for a gaming device or a PC. In that respect, I would generally recommend going directly to the TV and take any potential failure modes out of the equation. But for a video source like those nowadays, I would say it really shouldn't be making a difference. And if it is, there's definitely something kind of awry or something that you need to manage or work around. Otherwise, you should be all set. As it is, I still generally prefer to put sources directly into when we're talking about a television, a flat panel display. I generally prefer routing my sources to the TV and then the audio, back down when possible. But I have a specific setup whereby my video sources all kind of more or less demand some different settings on the inputs of the TV. So a Nintendo Switch versus a gaming PC versus an Apple TV and a Kaleidescape are my 4 sources. I have some very different settings on the TV's inputs from 1, 2, 3 to 4. If you switch all of that through an external source, you're only using one input on the display itself. And so, one thing I definitely wouldn't be doing in my AV life is like going in and manually changing settings as I used different devices or flipped around between them. That would be far too much of a pain and a hassle, I think. So more folks coming in. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Please hit the like button, sound off in the comments. Let me know who's there. And again, just kind of a housekeeping announcement one more time, as we've got some more folks in the channel for the foreseeable future here, the next few weeks, next several weeks, really. I'm going to be very busy through the weekends. We've got some family travel and other things coming up, zipping around here and there, everywhere, up through Audio Advice Live at the beginning of August. And there's not going to be really much opportunity to do a stream, I think, on the weekends. So Wednesday night, probably Wednesday night, 10 o'clock is going to be the Techthusiasm hour. So plan for that if you'd like to make sure to be able to make future lives. So let's talk about calibration. I'll start right off the bat saying that I've never actually had any of my display devices in the history of many projectors and many flat panel displays, never actually had anything really professionally calibrated. The most that I've done is just some minor tweaking that I've done myself, which is kind of a settings copy or a settings replication, sometimes from AVS forum owners threads and whatnot. Of course, that's not really a true calibration. And then a while back, a certain AVS forum member, local Michigan enthusiast meetup group member, came over. It was when we were shooting off the Epson LS12000 in my NX7, and he had the equipment basically to finally do like a JVC auto cal. I think that's a really neat feature of the JVC projectors. If you're not going to go the full distance to get a pro calibration done, and you want to take some steps towards maximizing the image and the picture that your projector is putting out there, the fact that the JVCs offer an AutoCal feature, I think is kind of a plus for the platform or for the brand in that. So we had done that, and that was the first time, the furthest step then for a while now that I've ever taken towards a full calibration. But I had a channel member, community member, reach out to me on the side directly. He's a fellow Midwesterner, essentially, and he has long been calibrating displays. He had the whole setup, and I'll talk about some of the equipment and stuff that he was able to use that was cool to see kind of in use. But he happened to be kind of traveling through the area, a little bit out of his way, but more or less kind of traveling through the area, and offered to come and calibrate my projector, calibrate the home theater, the JVC NX7. So we chatted about it a little bit. He didn't ask for anything I've offered. I'm like, man, let me at least send you something. Let me buy you dinner. Let me buy you a drink or two or whatnot. And he just graciously offered to come by. So while traveling past the area, he stopped by the 4th of July, got here kind of late morning-ish, and we spent a few hours, really almost until dinner time, actually, down in the theater and running essentially a full SDR and HDR calibration on the projector. Really cool. My massive thank you again goes out to this person. He didn't want me to specifically name him. He doesn't routinely do calibrations really as a business anymore. Kind of just does them for himself and for kind of close friends and family or whatnot. So he didn't want his information kind of advertised. I was more than willing to put it all out there and hopefully line him up with a whole bunch of work out of other folks maybe around the area or whatever that may want to have similar work done. But he asked not to do that. So I'm no names, no references in that. We'll be able, we will here talk fully about kind of the whole experience and some of the results and whatnot. So I'm going to share the screen here. Let's go like this. Oh, wait, we're sharing the wrong screen. Oops. Let me stop that one. Present, share screen, entire screen, and we want this one. Add to stream. There we go. Okay. So first of all, he brought like just some massive masses of equipment with him. It was really cool to see. So Calman, of course, was the software I think that more or less everybody uses for this stuff. Running Calman Ultimate. He had one of these things. This was a really cool device. This Mugen 7 G8K. So this is basically a signal pattern generator, right? That allowed essentially his laptop connected to this MU Gen 7. The MU Gen 7 was HDMI out to the projector. Calman interfaces with this and called up basically a collection of different test patterns and doing all of its sequencing and stuff through the Mugen. I don't know if I'm actually saying that right or not. As well as being able to, interface with this thing directly and pull all kinds of different, and again, really kind of cool test patterns. There's video like a girl swinging in a hammock, basically to look at motion with the lattice of the hammock was really good. A lot of like, of course, very specifically chosen reference type images with people and different skin tones and different fruits and vegetables and like all these different kinds of things. And of course, the person doing the cal, we'll call him Mr. D, knew these test patterns, right, like the back of his hand. So I'm looking at these things, trying to understand, okay, what are the elements of trying to find this piece or that piece or pull like, this aspect or that aspect out of it. And he's like, oh yeah, look here and look here and look here and pull all of this stuff out. So this was a pretty sweet device. This stuff is expensive stuff as well. You go to want to buy one of these things, well, that's going to set you back almost $7,000 just for the generator alone, right? Approved test device for Dolby Audio, up to 8K resolutions and all this stuff, 120 FPS. Pretty wild. He had two meters with him as well. One was this. Oh, was this the right link? This iBasic Pro, which was more for about like a kind of establishing some of the reference color measurements and such. The main meter that was taking the measurements themselves was this guy. This was a beast. Again, quite a bit more than the basic meters for doing like the JVC AutoCal. Klein K10A, another $6,900 meter here, umpteen $1,000 of equipment that we were tinkering around with, and he was using to kind of run this cal. So we've got everything set up, established the baseline, and essentially went to work, right? Stabilizing all the settings of the projector. We did SDR first and then moved on to HDR. And if I show off some of these pictorials here, I think the main one, let's see, SDR pre-cal. If we can look at this, let me see if I can pull this a little larger here. Right off the bat, like the NX7, my NX7 wasn't doing too bad actually. The general results and the calibrator's kind of take on what the JVC was doing, as it was already kind of pre-configured, and I think as well based on the prior the settings off of the prior AutoCal, we're somewhat close. You can see all these like boxes here represent kind of the perfect point, essentially, where we want these different color representations to be. Pretty much none of these, well, yellow is a little close there, but out of the box pre-cal. And this wasn't exactly from the very start. We had a little trouble kind of like getting or making a pictorial basically of kind of where we started from. But what I can say based on the test patterns that we were looking at and whereby kind of the calibration started, there was a little bit of saturation, a little push, I think on the red side of things, and a little bit of crushing in the whites and the brightest whites in some of the test patterns. It was very clear to see that in like the whitest whites, there wasn't a delineation, essentially between all the boxes. The whitest boxes kind of blended together in a bit of a way. So, of course, he proceeded to work through all of the available color settings, right, and calibration settings on the projector for the purposes of this workflow, and trying to basically dial these boxes in changing gains and offsets to get the white balance perfectly set, and we got this real good in the middle of that box here. And then was it hue, saturation, and luminescence as well for all of the various colors here, all 6 color points of these boxes. And one of my main takeaways as we were kind of talking through is explaining what was going on. Again, I'm by no means any type of a pro calibrator. I haven't been through any type of training for this stuff. And again, I didn't even necessarily do the auto cal myself. It was another friend that did it when we did there. So I've got a lot to learn in this area. If I ever intend to take up this torch myself and go down a path of like doing this myself in the future. But the main one of the things that I found most interesting is essentially right tweaking the multiple settings available for each of these 6 different colors, and kind of almost how arbitrary the numerical settings in the projector itself ended up, meaning all of these different color settings are interrelated in different ways. You don't just kind of change one setting and move these circles up and down on one axis. You got another setting for left and right, and you have another setting for basically what would be the 3D portion, right, of this color map. By changing any given tick of any given color, you're affecting the whole dot or the whole sphere essentially in the 3D space, as well as influencing the representation of the position of the other dots in the other colors. So it really becomes less about, again, just moving things very simply. What I want to say, I suppose, is it gives me a much higher level of respect for the people that really take this on as a job, and go to folks' places, and literally spend hours. We were down there probably 4-ish or so hours, working on dialing this in and trying to find the right balance of settings, right, of color numbers that put everything in the right box. And again, adjusting one thing has an influence on this part and an influence on that part, and all around. And wherever those numbers ended up in the final settings, in some ways, feels like very arbitrary. Sammy's, I think, really well versed here as well, commenting that he has some of the same equipment. So if anything I'm saying is either kind of either wrong or potentially interesting, Sammy, feel free to add some color commentary to it. But I'll admit that in the past, like, right, I might have been inclined in the far longer ago past, let's say, getting started even to some respect in the hobby, I might have been inclined to, like, do the thing where somebody shares their color settings for a calibration for a TV or whatever it might be, right? And I went and grabbed those numbers and put them in my, based on a web forum or based on some owner's discussion, and I put those numbers in my TV. And after seeing this in action, I have a completely new respect both for the arbitrariness of kind of how those numbers are achieved for, right, your very specific display, presenting an image in your space, and the interaction between them, and how, like, it's probably the last thing that you ever want to do is go try to copy anybody's color calibration, right, and just plug those numbers into your unit. And anybody that thinks that they maybe would pull up the color settings, like those very detailed color calibration settings, the color management system settings on your projector, on your display, and tweak them to the point where, like, you think you can see all of the impact that they're having without making like massive changes, right? You really need the meter. The meter is the truth for what little minute changes in some cases, right? Sometimes the smallest tick ends up with a bigger impact, and sometimes like larger steps seem to have a smaller impact. And it all depends just on the integration or the how all of these different color settings and stuff essentially come together. So this was the pre, again, some red saturation, some color. I want to say compression is the right word, but not blooming. I'm missing the word again, but some crushing kind of in the whites at the very white. And so if I go to this other photo here, or this other little screen grab, this was this is SDR post calibration. Let me make this bigger. And so you can see, not everything, at least from the perspective of this picture as well, right? Not everything completely ends up in the boxes, but white's dead on there, and we've got a whole lot of more colors either in the boxes or in the borders of the boxes. And overall, like the delta error of resulting measurement and color that Calman was presenting as he was making tweaks and then kind of remeasuring and reassessing and all that stuff, and we ended up with very low, almost negligible levels of error here between. I don't want to try to talk through too much of the technicals again that I didn't fully understand. If we would have had more time, I think we would have been able to really probably educate more and do less. And we were hoping to not only do the projector but to come upstairs as well and work on the LG-G2 there for a little while, particularly to look at some of the differences between what's involved essentially with calibrating something like a projector and something like a television, and how a projector can be a lot more complex of an operation to do in terms of having like less calibration points, and in terms of how like maybe better integrated is a way to say it, like the calibration software could be to a display than a projector. It is baffling to me how, like, JVC and maybe some other projector manufacturers do it, maybe they don't. But like, man, JVC, like JVC projector on the network of the same computer running Calman should be talking to each other, and like right in the Calman software where you're looking at all of the information, should be like a projection of the JVC color management system settings, and I should be able to like tick them up and down on the computer. Because this process, like I said, I've got a new respect for calibrators, and I understand, I think, much better, why this is an expensive thing to get done, why it's legit to charge hundreds of dollars to come, come to somebody's house and spend 5 hours kind of hammering out, the best possible picture that you might be able to get out of your projector. It's a lot of iterative work, and going back and forth and remeasuring, and tweaking this to see how this impacted that, and jumping back and forth and looking at all of the different calibration points from like different levels of color from 0 to 100%, and all that. So it takes some time and it takes some effort. I was curious to see kind of what the difference was doing a flat panel, and if LG, like, interacts with Calman in a way that the JVC projector doesn't. But again, why in the days that we have now of like IP based interfaces and web, JVC doesn't have one, but a lot of devices nowadays have web UIs at the URL. You can go to it, change things, like, this should all be working together like so much better than it is. I'll pull this one up as well. This is a little bit of a smaller picture. This was the post calibration HDR at 50%. I believe this one was. So I think this wasn't even actually the final picture, but we've got we're in all the boxes. So it was interesting. I will admit, so this is something that I'll have to report on a little bit more kind of going forward, as we actually use the room more post calibration. And I'm very curious the next time we do a movie to ask the family, hey, does anything look different, right? Do you think anything looks different on the screen, particularly between both the extra brightness now that we got out of the projector because of changing the bulb, and then now the calibration on top of it. We did do a couple of demo scenes afterwards, but he after we finished the JVC, he pretty much had to pack up and be on his way. And I was heading out right after him as well to catch up with the family that was at a barbecue for the 4th of July. So we pulled up a quick demo scene. I think we did something in The Lion King, because I was looking for something animated with some pop, to see, like, okay, does the usual thing I think that folks will say or quote when it comes to having a fully calibrated display is that the first take, if from going from an uncalibrated display to a calibrated display, is that a lot of people feel it looks drab. Um, it dims it down, or it brings the image down, because accurate isn't quite as vivid, as calibrated is. And I think I noticed that a little bit in The Lion King. And then, of course, we did the obligatory Ready Player One race scene. To me, I didn't notice anything, like, say, obtrusively, or that was bothering me from those couple of demo scenes, pre-cal to post-cal. But I definitely want to get back down there at some point. We'll watch some family movie or whatnot, and spend some time looking at some things. But I'm an engineer. With I'm happy with data, and like the confirmation of data, telling me that something is either doing what it's supposed to do, operating like it's supposed to operate, or being in its right set of kind of constraints and all of that. So I'm just giddy with the general idea that I have a projector that, in CalMan we saw it, was measured to be projecting the image and colors and presentation and all of that it's supposed to be doing. So pretty cool. And again, just an awesome gesture. Again, for this person to come by and do this for me, just as a hey, as a so that was pretty cool. Let's roll through some comments here. I'm just checking a few things. It's in the realm. Yeah, things like luminescence, opaque, saturation, saturate. Yep. Yeah. So every little, you tweak one thing and it's moving some others. A couple of shout outs. LBM WM3, welcome back. Sammy saying, yeah, there are things specific to model lines. Yeah, HDR and an NX red can reach the target and green won't. Reversed in the NZ. Yep, definitely there. I saw some of that in action. So have I noticed a strong difference? So I commented on this a little bit again from a demo perspective, looking at some of the test patterns that were coming out of this pattern generator. Particularly, there's a couple of images that it puts up of like different people standing next to each other, like with different kind of like nationalities and skin tones and all that. And I was very comfortable with, the before and after, to things. I think generally things looking more natural, more real world ish. I think in the after, looking at the patterns to the before. I won't say that one was terrible and one was like uberly awesome or anything like that. It wasn't night and day. It was maybe if you really know what you're looking for, you're really trained to understand the nuances of what was in some of these images and stuff. um, I could see feeling maybe a little stronger that way. To my untrained eye, again, I think things looked better, and I think things looked more natural, in a positive way. So Sammy's saying, in terms of how to go about doing things, depends on the projector. When I do a JVC, I do a custom 1D 256 point gamma table. Yeah, so we didn't do that kind of stuff. And I'm curious to see as well, maybe when the time comes later on, like adding a MadVR or Lumigen or whatever to the room, and the different type of like full on lookup table style calibrations, and what that does in the images there. LG does connect to CalMan. Yeah, some things it does that aren't ideal. Interesting. Yeah, I just work. So I think I have a special bias, or maybe link to the idea of like calibration, given that I work for a data science company, or a company that makes data science tools for modeling and simulation and analysis. And within that company, I work in a test and measurement group, and I run two I run 2 development teams that build products that are entirely based on either connecting to hardware, test and measurement style hardware, right? Hardware that would be connected to data and networks and things to process that and bring that in to our software platform and enable our users, empower our users to do stuff with that data. Or it doesn't necessarily always have to be hardware, but it's also like protocols, say, and like IP based standards and whatnot, but still using those standards to connect to something, whether that's like a PLC, operating something in a wind turbine somewhere, or talking through a lot of these different kind of like data management protocols. So to me, it's like, why like JVC, Sony, Samsung, LG, like the, I feel like from the calibration perspective, there's like CalMan is the software. I don't think that I could even name another prevalent piece of calibration software that I'm aware of, or that I hear people reference, or I hear anybody that I know that's kind of in this realm, actually using. And there's a finite, I think, number of different types of meters and devices and stuff that you would connect that software to run it. Why there's not some type of a protocol that all these manufacturers couldn't come together and build a calibration communication protocol. It just seems kind of silly to me, whereby CalMan has a generic type of or the display actually would within it have a standardized interface, an IP based interface on the network that CalMan could go out there and find, identify, oh yeah, okay, this is an LG LGG2, and now because of this like common protocol, CalMan can access the color management system and just do a bunch of things directly, command and control it, set settings and apply things and all of that directly. But easier said than done. Engineering is always far easier said than done, because it's definitely a pain. Another element that kind of slows the whole thing down is the need to do everything off of the JVC menus in the remote. So like constantly pulling up the menu overlay, and then every time you pull up the menu overlay, you're back like at the top. So you got to go down, get into the color management system, get back to where you were, just to tick a number or a couple numbers, up or down by by a couple values. And then in some of the measurements, they're significantly affected by having the menu open. Some, watching the things happening on the screen. Some measurements less so, or maybe really not even at all affected by the menu open. But more often than not, like to get a true reading, you can't even do it. So you can't change it like in real time. You have to change it, close it, wait, or have the CalMan running in continuous mode, and then have it re-get its latest values once the menu's closed, see where you're at, then open the menu back up and re-navigate back down. It seems like a real silly way to go about doing it that could be solved by these manufacturers. A couple other shout outs. DC, hello, welcome. So that was my calibration experience. Really cool. And again, as I explore more content, and particularly interested to ask the question to the family, does anything look any different to you since the last time that we did a movie? We did do one movie in between changing the bulb and the calibration. The Magician's Elephant or something like that, Netflix movie. We watched it just a few days ago. So that was with the new bulb. I didn't actually ask the family, like, did anybody notice anything? Did you notice that everything was brighter? But to me, there was a couple of scenes in that movie where the scene or whatever changed from a dark scene to a light scene, and it caught me stronger in the eyes than it did before. I could definitely feel that extra light at play. So that was the only one we did in the interim. And again, we'll get some time in there, and so either in some future content, some postings, or in some future discussion, I'll share some thoughts and share the answer to the question. Did the family notice? Did the family notice the bulb? Did the family notice the calibration? Sammy's saying color space. Color space is the only other software really. Chroma Pure, yeah, main ones are CalMan and color space. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. There's room for in automotive, like maybe it's easier in automotive But there's got to be somebody, I don't know, SMPTE, there's got to be like a standards body that could be in charge of this whole thing. In automotive, we'd have like SAE, Society of Automotive Engineers, or ISO, or somebody controlling a standard for the way like communication system, or some other type of like high level protocol that different elements and all of the members of the industry making cars would come together, and ratify this together. So there's got to be something like that in the in the audio video realm, consumer electronics realm. So Sammy's saying main thing to watch for JVC calibrations is that contrast is maintained and either stayed the same or increased. Yeah, so I'll probably roll through some of the more like contrasty demo scenes. We didn't do it yesterday. The other one that would have been worth looking at was probably like the 1917 scene. I've done that one a lot around different people's rooms, and some of the projector shootouts and stuff that I've seen where the the soldiers climbing up the stairs and that, making sure that we've still got nice black levels and good contrast and all that. So yeah, so that is the calibration. Any other thoughts, topics, questions about that? Again, I'll be updating kind of as we go. More on that to come. My other interesting topic that I wanted to chat about here tonight, let me pull up this information, is, and I don't know that I can necessarily put this on the screen, but it is public knowledge now, so I'm not, I shouldn't be getting anybody in any trouble with any leak. But there's been some Kaleidescape pricing changes here. Just in, yep, so we're getting that one right now, DC. Yep, Kaleidescape dropping prices. So there was a communication that went out, and everything that is in this list is effective July 1st. And I did see this posted actually in the Facebook Kaleidescape Facebook group. Maybe I'll actually pull it up from there. Give me 1 second, bear with me. I'll say, it's not like they decided to cut prices by half or anything, but yeah, here it is. I'll just share it here. So this is in the Facebook Kaleidescape Facebook users group. Let's go back to this one. Just make sure I don't have anything on my screen that I don't want to share. Yeah, permanent price reduction. So for those that weren't aware, Kaleidescape basically through the entirety or the majority of June had a promotion running. I tried to draw some awareness to it. I posted a couple community posts about it, whereby some combos and stuff like that were like $1,000 off, basically. The Strato C, and now the 12 is gone. So we have the Terra 6 and 22. And then in the biggers, the biggins, we've got the 48 and the 88. And there were some combo discounts for putting a Terra basically together with, a Strato together with the Terra, $1,000 off roughly MSRP. Well, according to this, essentially the June sale promo price is now the new MSRPs. So fundamentally speaking, we have permanent price reductions pretty much across the board of about $1,000. So, we're talking at least on the lower end, right? It's about a 10%-ish, greater than 10%-ish price reduction. The Terra 88 here is down, down $1,000. Well, okay, we could have pushed that one down a little further perhaps, but I suppose if you have the money to go ahead and pick up an 88 terabyte Terra as an element of your home theater system, you're probably not sweating like 25 grand versus maybe 20 grand. You probably got it covered either way, I would suspect. But I think this is the sweet spot in the middle here, is where a lot of people maybe that have been sitting on the sidelines have been interested in it, where it's going to appeal is the fact that, again, the former promo price is the new stated MSRP. And in addition to that, for essentially the months of July and August, there's an additional promotional price drop beyond that. So now we're looking at the cost of entry to Kaleidescape is under $8,000. Prior to June's promos, that was 10 grand. Now we're at 8. So we're actually like 20%, all in all, 20% price reduction to get into Kaleidescape kind of from scratch. Strato C plus 6 terabyte Tera, new MSRP, 89.90, promo SRP, 79.90, $1,000 off. And same discounts, same numerical discounts if you go for the 22, which I think was costing, or should have been costing, I think on the order of 16,000 before, or 15,000 now, 13,000. Interestingly as well, there's the lower part here, there's a double promo. So for those folks that are looking to get 2 Stratos, so you basically want a multi-zone, multi-unit Kaleidescape setup, right, you get $1,500 off the combined MSRP of a dual Strato plus storage configuration, and they're not offering that for whatever reason with the 6 terabytes. Again, probably if you are of the wallet in disposition to buy multiple Stratos to use Kaleidescape and with the hardware in more than one zone around your house, you're probably not sweating these prices or the additional steps anyway. So, I think there'll be the obligatory post that, oh, like, they need to cut their prices by a lot more than that. It's like, well, we don't run their business, and we don't make that decision. And to me, especially after the price increases that we experienced on so many things, kind of through and coming out of COVID, to see the price of this coming down, any movement, any momentum, lowering the price of entry, allowing the base, to broaden up. I think this is hopefully the beginning of a natural progression that would allow more people to get into the platform. And so, who's to say as well, right? The June promos became the new norm, and if things go well with this pricing level, and they're comfortable with it, at the end of August, we'll see what happens at the end of August, and as we get in, then later on into Q4 in the end of the year. So, be curious to see anybody on the live stream now, or anybody in the chat, later on. And I'll probably make a discrete video about this because I think it's worth mentioning and drawing attention to. But I'm curious if this changes the calculus to anybody, pushes them over maybe to thinking about jumping into the platform. And hey, if you're going to do that, wouldn't you know, you can buy this stuff from Audio Advice, and you can use my affiliate links, which is probably one of the single greatest ways to support Techthusiasm. So let's get some chat going. Let me know. What do you think? What do you think about this? Good, bad, indifferent? Matt says, they really need to bring the price of the Strato C down. Yeah, ridiculous price to pay for extending Casecape to another screen. Yeah, I didn't see any specific communication about the Strato itself, or the price of the Strato unto itself. So I think these bundles fundamentally appeal to the new buyer rather than an existing customer that wants to add or build up a system. I suppose, again, you're getting a little more money off at least if you go in for two Stratos in your setup from the start. Something's better than nothing for the folks that might be doing that. But it's a tough pill to swallow to want to try to get it on 2 screens, especially if it's putting it in your second zone is only like a really nice to have. And that's definitely what the case for me. It would take a lot, I think, for me to want to buy a second Strato to put in the living room. But that's why I do my system the whole way, basically the whole way that I do it, whereby I use the Zone 2, right? So my K hardware is fundamentally purchased for the theater, and I run it through the Anthem AVM70, the processor for the theater, but then I HDMI Zone 2 out of that processor up to the TV here in the living room, which basically gives me access to Kaleidescape in 2 rooms. And you know, I can probably count on one hand the number of movies that we've probably actually watched in the living room on the Kaleidescape. But you know, it's still nice to have it if I want to check something out, if I want to pull up a scene or a demo, you know, just tinker, or for the purposes of the channel, it gives me the flexibility to be able to make a Kaleidescape focused video without having to do, you know, go down to the theater and turn on the theater and record in like the harder, dimmer lit environment and all that stuff. So it's nice to be able to access it in both rooms, but as it is, I certainly wouldn't look to spend the money to put another Strato in that room. It just wouldn't amortize for the use that it would get and make it worthwhile. I will say that if you do have a Kaleidescape, and you have a single Strato, and you're doing something like I'm doing with the multi-zone and all of that, I find that the multi-zone works really well. And what I mean by that is, you know, I don't have to change it for the Kaleidescape. If I pull it up in the theater and then another day or whatever, I pull it up in the living room, the HDMI syncing, the audio output, the video output, and all of that stuff, like everything just works very nicely, and I never have to go into the menus and change anything. So, you know, if you wanted to distribute your Strato, you could probably accomplish that with some extra HDMI cables and use the functionality of the Zone 2 and stuff like that, rather than dropping the cash on multiple Stratos. But again, I guess if you have a household of like real high-end premium zones, and you really want, you know, that delivered through all of the places around your house, then you got the money. So you're probably not hurting, and you're all set. One thing that I did notice, I'll go ahead. Well, actually, let's take a couple of these questions. So LL MWM3. Actually, I used your link if I buy at Best Buy. Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah. So the Kaleidescape link, there's 2 referrals that I can give for Kaleidescape. One of them is to buy the hardware, and you could buy the hardware through Audio Advice. The other one is if you're a new entry into the platform, and when you register your Kaleidescape account for the first time, I forget what the number, it's in all the videos in the description. It's like pile 21433 or something. But come to find out along the way that if you do, that's like a general customer referral. Everybody has a referral code in the Kaleidescape platform that you can get essentially in your account. And if somebody else creates an account or registers a system and uses your referral code, you basically both get $100 in movie store credit. So it's pretty cool. People have been pretty gracious with that, and I've got a nice little bumper of Kaleidescape credits that I continually just kind of use it to buy, you know, upgrade offers when new movies are available in 4K, and of course use it to buy new releases and stuff like that. For the longest time, I thought that it was just a benefit for me, $100 for me. But then along the line, somebody corrected me and like, oh no, like you basically you both get $100. So if you got any friends that you're getting in the Kaleidescape platform, keep in mind you can use your own code with them, and then you and your friend would both get the 100. But if you're buying hardware, you can follow my links to Audio Advice, and I get an affiliate share back from that. So yeah, really awesome unit, especially if you don't know how to rip discs. Yeah, man, ripping something. It's always a fun discussion about ripping. I'll say I've both simultaneously wasted a lot of time ripping and setting up media servers, but then I also really enjoyed some of the time setting up media servers. And I'm an organization kind of person, and I like my hands. I like collecting things, and I like I like feeling my collection, and so like ripping stuff and putting things in folders and setting the metadata, and all of that. There was a season of my life where that was very fun, but that season that season closed a long time ago because it's a very time intensive and error ridden uh, process, or it very much can be, versus being able to just enjoy content at the highest fidelity. A couple other comments here. Rick Valenzuela, awesome name. That's good that they brought the entry price down. Do they offer Black Friday sales? So this is the promo right now. As mentioned here, I'll pull it up again because I think Percy was asking as well. This is what was posted. So this promotion runs through the end of August. $1,000 off the combination of a Strato C and either one of the Terras. Pick your favorite, pick your size. But we'll see what happens after that. There very well may be, starting September 1st, there could be more promotions. This is a really good sign as well, I think, too, that even aside making the former sale become the new MSRP and then offering a promotion on top of that, this is essentially 3 months in a row where there's been like an ongoing promo. A lot of companies generally offer, I would say, like, rolling promotions, and things go on sale and come off sale, or sales change and whatnot. Like you go to Best Buy. I just bought a dishwasher. That hopefully will be coming in a few weeks, because I'm getting really tired of like washing the same dishes after they come out of the dishwasher, because the dishwasher can't clean them. But you go to Best Buy to buy an appliance, and there's always a promo. It's just a matter of like, what's the promo, and then one promo expires and another one kicks up right after it. So fundamentally, because we had a promo in June and now we've got a July-August promo, that's 3 consecutive months where there was there was an effective price reduction in the platform, which is great. So, will it continue? There could be a new promo period, or new offering, starting September 1st, and that one could run for a while. Maybe it'll come off promo, and then there'll be an end of year. I don't think that we can predict that, and I won't prognosticate specifically, or that I know anything about what they may do, or that definitively August 31st this one goes away, and September 1st something else will come in to replace it. So what I'm saying, any future speaking thoughts that I'm sharing are pure speculation and opinion. But again, looking at the way businesses tend to operate, and I think these are all good changes, and we'll see how they continue. We're a good bit away from Black Friday as well, and I think the overall economy, I think this is going to be a really interesting end of year holiday season and all of that. We're here in July now, and by all accounts, like, our global economy should have burned down in recession by now, and it really hasn't. Stock market, Apple just hit $3 trillion of market cap. So yeah, we'll see what's going on. Comic book market continues to slide. That's good. Because I would like to continue buying more comic books. So the more that stuff falls in value, collectibles, I'm happy with that. And I noticed the price of a burger at Five Guys. God, we went to Five Guys the other day, and it's like $13 for a burger. Like a double bacon cheeseburger at Five Guys, like $13 now. So Percy asking, just tap it in. What's the new price? So there you go. $79.90. $79.90 for a Strato C plus a Terra 6 terabyte with the currently ongoing promotion through the end of August. And if you want the 22 terabyte, $12,990. $1,000 off the newly reduced MSRP. So interestingly, I will say this, you go to Audio Advice, they actually haven't updated the new promo yet. So here we got compact. Let me zoom this in a little bit. Good enough. Compact Terra 6 terabyte plus Strato C bundle, $89.90. That is the new MSRP, but they're not showing the promos. Right at the end of June, as we crossed over into July, when you came to Audio Advice, you did a search. There was the original MSRP $99.90, and that was crossed out, and they had the new prices shown. So I think they're lagging. Actually, yeah, they're lagging a little bit here. So the the price of the C plus the 22 is $14,990. That was the prior MSRP, so it should be showing $13,990 with the cross out. Maybe I'll send them a note, send them a note tomorrow, and see if they're gonna get this updated. So if you're thinking about putting an order in tonight, don't order these straight off the webpage. Give them a call and let them know that you know, you need K promo 1060, K promo 1094. A couple other comments here. Grab my Kaleidescape off eBay. Yeah. Yep. That's a good way to go. You know, you can get a Kscape Owners Forum, eBay too, but Kscape Owners Forum, there's a steady enough flow of older hardware that still comes through, such that, you know, you can still get like a Strato S 12 terabyte for maybe five grand or so. People may list those for. You know, that's still much cheaper than the entry point there to buy a brand new one. And if you wanted to try it out, I've bought used Kaleidescape hardware in the past as well. In fact, that's how I got started in the platform altogether. Is my first K was a used model, an original Strato S 2U. Right, so here you go, Strato S 6 terabyte, trusted seller. A little hard to read here. Let me zoom in a bit. And these are still even under warranty, right? Because the Strato S was still being offered when the 5-year warranty was was implemented. So here, $4,500. Make an offer. That's half the price of a Strato C and a Tera compact 6 terabyte, all in one unit. Nice, and that you don't get the faster downloads, but that's really the only thing that you give up. So yeah, my first K was a used one. Bought it on eBay, and you know, they come through here. So here's another one, Strato S 12 terabyte, 6K, Asteen 6K. That's a nice size. I have a 12 terabyte compact Tera. They don't offer it anymore, but I think 12 is a really nice size in this platform. So yeah, Sammy, ripping more of a time issue. Yep. Yep. That's my problem. I have no time for almost anything. So let's see, Eric Ridgely, welcome. Do you think it's worth investing in more or bigger terabytes versus deleting and downloading? So I just actually answered this question in one of the video comment, or one of the comments as well. So I have a couple things basically that I would say that would be the decision maker on here. Is you don't really, if you're going to buy a new one, right, you don't have that much choice anymore. You have 6 and you have 22. If the 12 were still available, I would say you split the difference, you buy the 12. I found 6 terabyte to be slightly cramped. For every 6 terabytes of storage that you have, you can hold roughly 100 4K movies in the platform, you know, plus or minus, give or take. But let's just nominally call it 100 movies. 100 movies is still a lot of movies, right? You can download. What I do on mine is I keep a pretty large number of like favorites, all-time favorites, individual films and series. I keep a bunch of films that are really only there to pull up a demo scene once in a while. And you know, as new movies come out, I keep a whole bunch of movies queued up. So like any given night that we might want to watch a movie, or I might have an occasion to watch a movie by myself, you know, I've got plenty of stuff to choose from. So 12 terabyte is 200 films. And then I leave like 20, 25 movies worth of clearance so that there's always space to put something on there. And it's usually pretty clear to me after we watch a movie, you know, if that was like, okay, that was like a one-timer for that one and I'll delete it, or there's a reason that I might want to leave it on there. Also, like, I keep some headroom because as we get into the end of the year, it's Christmas time. You know, I'll go download Elf and Christmas Vacation, and a whole bunch of those types of movies, and just have them all on there, because we might, usually in December, we roll through a bunch of holiday films and stuff like that. So, six to do all of that, six can be tight. However, if your wallet is tighter than the space, then get six and be happy with six. I mean, right now with these promo MSRP, the promo pricing, the difference between 6 and 22 is $5,000. Granted, it's close to 4 times the storage space. And 22, I would call 22 quite comfortable, quite big. I can comfortably get by with 12, and that's with a 1,500 movie library. I think I've exceeded actually 1,500 movies now in my Kaleidescape library. But I also have gigabit internet, and Kaleidescape in these compact standalone Teras will pump data at a good 800, 900 megabit per second. So you do the math on that, a good sized 4K movie, on a gigabit pipe, and you can download that in like 12 minutes. So for me and my family, by the time we make a decision about what movie we're going to watch, and then we actually get down there to watch it, certainly more than 12 minutes has transpired, which essentially makes it on demand. So to me, cycling isn't too bad. Cycling, if you had the older hardware, you had the combined hardware, you have a Strato S, and it takes 45 minutes plus to download a movie. One of the reasons that I got rid of my Strato S and I did go with the compact Tera 12, I had a Strato S6. I had pulled back in the platform to a Strato S6, and I found the experience of the Strato S6 to be too limiting. That 6 felt small, and 6 felt even smaller as a function of the fact that it took 45 minutes plus to download a movie. So, it'll take us 15 minutes to get down to the theater as a family being ready to watch a movie. But when it takes 45 minutes, we didn't use the Kaleidescape. We would stream it instead, because we would be pushing too much against, like, we're not waiting that long to start the movie. It's going to be too late, too late by the time the movie's over and then the kids go to bed. we can't afford that, like, half an hour, delta or whatever difference. So that led me to wanting, but now that I have the compact, and I have a 12-minute download time, and I have pretty high data cap as well with my internet provider. I think we've got 3 terabyte data cap, so I can turn over a lot of downloads in a month, along with our regular internet usage, and generally not even come close to the 3 terabyte limit. So all that's to say that if a couple of those things line up for you, and you value needing, you've got the money in your pocket to be able to buy into the platform, but pushing further out for that extra $5,000 to get that extra space or more doesn't make sense for your wallet, then take the 6 terabyte and be happy with it. If you won't miss it, you can go a little further. Then go as far as you have. I guarantee that in time, if you're a new entry into the platform and you find that you really like it, you're going to fill, the size of your owned library will exceed 6 terabytes. And even it won't take you probably even that long to exceed 22 terabytes, quite honestly. I think if I were to download my whole collection of films, I would need more than an 88. I think I would fill an 88 and need more space beyond that right now. So at some point in time, you could probably assume that you're going to cycle anyway, unless you grow as you go and you add another 22 after you fill the first one. The other thing that I'll say about living in the platform is, it is honestly nicer to have all of your movies available than not. If I had my druthers, and at some point, if things continue the way they are and we never get high fidelity streaming, and Kaleidescape is here, they're the solution for high fidelity home theater content delivery for the next 20, 30 years. Yeah, I'll probably have a 170 terabyte Terra or something in my system eventually, and I would strive to have my whole library downloaded in Resident, just because it is better. The platform is better that way. You can watch anything without waiting, and some of the UI features and capabilities depend on the movie being downloaded. So if you want to make the most of, say, using collections and putting your content together in collections and stuff like that, you can't have collections when a film is in the cloud in a collection. It has to be resident on the system. So, it is nicer to have everything there, literally be able to choose from it at a moment's notice, and so on. But I would think for the lot of us, we don't have the luxury. It's going to be a long time before I'm spending 25 grand on a 88 terabyte server. That said, actually, the hard drive, excuse me, hard drive sizes, I think, are due to increase again, yet again. Where did I? Oh, yeah, here. This article from a Nantech. This was from early June. Big leap for hard drive capacities. 32 terabyte HAMR drives due soon. 40 terabyte single hard drives is on the horizon. So, eventually there's going to be a Tera 40, a compact Tera 40 actually, and then there'll be a Tera. Was that 4080? Yeah, Tera 160. So it's only going to get bigger, or who knows, 10 years, 20 years, maybe Kaleidescape will have like play on demand, and we won't actually even need the storage to start like a download and playback scenario for all of our films. But that we're getting way out there anyway. So to ask the question today, how much size do you need? Again, what's your internet speed? What's your data cap? What kind of are you comfortable with the 12-minute download being like a maximum ish wait time? And how badly would you miss the extra money? I think either option is viable. So, but I understand why they cut the 12 when they brought the 22 in. They wanted to have some differentiation, and having too many options, I don't think makes sense. Like, you want to have meaningful options, such that if somebody moves from step A to step B to step C, there's really a tangible difference between them. They don't need hardware offerings at like every 6, 12, 18, 24, etc. in all those SKUs and all that stuff. A couple more comments on this topic. DC. Oh, so here we got one available here. DC asking, anybody want a Strato S12 terabyte 5700 shipped? Good price. Shipping included. And that's a 12. So DC comments 6 terabyte is too small. So DC, why are you selling? Are you exiting the platform? Or more than likely, I would guess, did you turn your Strato S into a Strato C and a compact for the benefits that it gets? Welcome, Satya. Eric saying now I could just grab another Strato S 6 terabyte and incorporate the two. Yes, so this is another, I think, a really cool part of the platform is that basically it all communicates with each other. And like a Strato can play content off of another Strato. If you had multiple Stratos, your Stratos can all play content off of the Terras that they see. Within like one system, like one location or whatever, Kaleidescape seamlessly turns itself into one unified platform. And when you download, like, you don't even necessarily control, when you download, okay, I want it to go here, I want it to go there. It balances itself out and puts the movies where it needs to put them. So for, I think, Eric talking about, or where was the comment about wanting a second Strato, like for a second zone? Yeah, you could do a Strato S pick up a used Strato S for the other zone, and you would benefit from the extra storage. You would be adding playback capability to a zone and adding storage to your overall system as well. And it would, yeah, when you activate everything on your account in the same system within your account, you define Kaleidescape. I think system is the right word, because it's for the folks as well that may have like, okay, I got a Kaleidescape at my home theater, and I got a Kaleidescape on my yacht, and I got a Kaleidescape at my ski chalet. And I buy movies in my account, and I can download them at all my different places. But within those places, you can have, all of the hardware in one location makes up one system. So Eric's saying, definitely love it. Huge video file. Yep. Travis, need a barn find Kaleidescape. Garage sale. Wow, if anybody ever finds a Kaleidescape in a garage sale, you have to let me know, because I want to come garage sailing in your neighborhood in the future. Sammy's saying, yep, you can do that shared system. Yep, seasons one collection. Nice feature. Eric saying, just got an Apple TV. Cool, based off of videos and tutorials. Thank you. 600 Blu-rays, a lot of Blu-rays, a lot of physical media. Yep, now doing the Kaleidescape. So hopefully you've picked up an optical drive, and you've been taking advantage of some disc to digital as well with all the physical media that you have. Definitely take advantage of that. Do you think deleting and downloading repeatedly shortens the hard drive life? No. No. Those drives are going to stay as live as long as they're going to stay. The level of use that like downloading a movie, watching it, and then deleting it puts on those drives is not going to be, I don't think, really even a stress inducing to them at all. They use like real high class drives, like enterprise class drives. I'm got a fly buzzing around on my monitor here. The mean time between failure and the rated life of these drives is like crazy long. So no worries at all from a longevity perspective there. Yeah, there you go. DC is looking for a 22. Yep, upgrade to the 22 and the C combo. that's that. I think a lot of folks go through that, and again, more often than not, I think when you see a Strato S 6 or 12 for sale, it's not because the person is wants out of the platform. It's because they're expanding within it. Yeah, Matt saying Kscape needs to create an app to be able to stream purchase movies to other TVs and iPads. Yep. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of things have been discussed there. In that capacity, we'll see what the future holds. One of the biggest challenges, I think, ultimately is the licensing and the security. That the mere fact that they're able to provide what they provide, the fidelity that they're able to provide in a digital format, is kind of predicated on the fact that they can provide that with the ultimate assurances of security to the studios and the content providers that are selling things in their store. So anything that would bring some security danger, or open up how and when and where that content would be accessed is probably a pretty significant legal undertaking, probably a bigger legal undertaking, I would surmise, than a technological one. But still, nobody else is streaming high fidelity content or whatever, but they have their own apps too, and I think Kaleidescape has one of the best AV apps for their hardware, like in our hobby. So a logical step could be just allowing the app on your iPad to play movies from your Terra, and figure out a way to do that. Then you're still within the ecosystem, you're still within the K app. Maybe you could download that to to your iPad. But I don't think you'd probably really download and take it with you though, because then they would have to start getting into smaller encodings, right? You're not going to put 100 and whatever 5 GB Avengers Endgame downloaded off your Terra onto your iPad probably. But streaming it within the house or whatever, could work. Lots of options. There's no shortage of features that Kaleidescape could deliver us. So yeah, so that's that second topic of conversation for tonight. And again, I really need to spin out a separate video about that pretty quick here, and hopefully we see the list prices, at AudioVice and other places, kind of reflecting the promotion that was communicated out. So remember those referral codes. Buy from AudioVice and get your $100, and use the other one when you register your account. Get your $100 of movie credit for you. One general question here, Travis. Do you think you could integrate an Arendal 1S sub with a 2S? Looking to add an additional 2S, but not sure I need the output if I would have with a 1S. Yes. They're both sealed subwoofers. Generally speaking, you don't want to try to integrate a vented or a ported and a sealed together, but you're talking about multiple sealed subwoofers in the same space. In different locations in the room, basically, EQing them into the system separately. No problem at all, I think, with that. In fact, Dan, one of my friends, the integrator installer that I've had on the channel a number of times, I think we had this question specifically in a former live stream. And Dan's answer was in a lot of situations, actually, doing multiple subwoofers, he won't necessarily spec, multiple full-size subs, or same larger model subs everywhere. He'll do like one or two big subs and maybe in the front, and then he'll do smaller subs in the back, because it's not necessarily about needing the output. It's about putting the subwoofers in multiple locations to smooth the responses out. And, you can get positive impact to your overall room response if you have some larger subs and some smaller subs, because the larger ones are giving you more impactful output. The smaller ones are there just to support the bigger ones by hopefully covering the nulls by virtue of being in a different location. So you might find that to work pretty good. I debated that even myself a little bit. I definitely can feel in my room now, after having moved the subwoofer locations from 2 up front to 1 up front, 1 in the back, and the resulting integration of the two. I think I showed this off in the prior stream, but not that one. Let's go that one. So this is what both of my subwoofers were doing. I have the 2S's, 1723 2S's. I have a pair of them. That's what they were doing when they were both at the front of the room. That's what they do when one is at the front and one is at the back. So they're absolutely helping each other out and covering, the other deficiencies. And could I put 1S's in the back and still achieve, overcoming some of these nulls just by virtue of the location? Absolutely. Right. It would work. I mean, if you have the budget and you want to use the same subwoofer everywhere, that's fine. Yeah, that's viable and fun as well. But if you want to step down in the back is too. One of that I've been feeling actually after watching a few movies. Again, overall, my audio is better. It's definitely better. It's tangibly better than it was before, because now this mid-bass region that I wasn't really hearing, but I was feeling a lot of tactile, and I wasn't hearing that like mid-bass impact quite the same way. Now I have more of a full bass experience, but I definitely feel the tactile is not as strong, because there's only one subwoofer providing output in the tactile region. The one in the back corner now is like dying out in the very, very low tactile bass region. So I'm thinking more and more like, I don't know, I'd like at least maybe 3 subwoofers, run the 2 up front daisy chained, and then the one in the back as a second independent sub, but ultimately just get to 4. But we'll see. We'll see when that happens. Eric's saying one last quick question. If you purchase a movie on pre-order, is it cheaper versus the day it's finally released? There was been some conjecture that like movies do seem to go up like $5 or so on the day that they are released. I honestly haven't paid close enough attention to corroborate that or not. In the owners forum, I think I have seen people make mention of the idea that movies are cheaper when they first appear in the pre-order area, and then they go up, at least initially, when they become made first available. So here's what's available in the premium and pre-order section right now. So in the premium area, there's a number of titles in here. Well, actually not that many more than what showed up there. But in the pre-orders, we've got this just showed up, the new, I was thinking this was Pixar, the new DreamWorks animated movie, $29.99. We got Guardians at $24.99. We got Spider-Man at $24.99. Flash, $39.99. Warner Brothers, come on. You guys are a joke. Transformers, $29.99. So I'll to answer this question better going forward, I'll try to pay a little bit more attention to these few movies before they come out and they're available to watch, and we'll see what happens with the pricing. If Flash comes down at all and then it goes back up, if Transformers, this is Paramount, yeah. So it'll be interesting if Transformers goes from $29.99 to $36.99 when it goes live, and then Guardians and Spider-Man conceivably could go to $29.99. But yeah, so we'll keep an eye on those. We'll answer this question a little bit more coming up. But I know some folks in the owners forum have suggested that the prices in pre-order can be cheaper than when they first appear. But you wait a few weeks as well, and they probably will come down. If anybody knows as well, premium, we got, I think Fast X was up for pre-order for a little while. So it's in here at $29.99 right now. I don't know what this one is. No hard feelings. This is Sony $24.99. I feel like $24.99 is like Sony's price. And like that won't actually end up going up, but yeah, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll check back in on them in future lives. Yeah, Sammy's saying pre-ordered all of those except the Flash. Ruby Gilman. Which one was Ruby Gilman? I must have been up here. Yeah, not paying Warner Brother prices. Yeah, I mean, heck, just wait, buy the Blu-ray, and then D2D it if they want to charge $40. Guardians releases tomorrow. Yeah, grab it tonight for cheaper money. Well, roll the dice. I mean, it's $5. I don't think it would go up by more than $5. Disney pricing got better in the store a couple years ago. Disney used to be a bit higher, and then they had like actually, I think across all digital platforms, Disney had a pretty significant price reduction. Even on iTunes and whatnot, they brought the prices of all their content down. It's like at the beginning-ish of COVID or earlier on in COVID, I want to say. 2020, maybe late 2020. So I don't think this will change. I think Guardians tomorrow after release will still be $24.99. Yeah, Otto, welcome Otto, asking, do prices drop over time or do both? I would say both. You may see as titles become older and they go like a little more catalog, there's maybe some natural reduction often. But sales for sure. There's always sales in the store right now, or always like promotional sales. So if I go back here, let's see, there's a summer music series on sale. Oh, we got this. I'm curious to take a look at this super classic movie, Original Vacation, now in 4K. What's the download size? 50. Oh, that's weird. The 4K HDR is 50 and the 4K non-HDR is 61. I wonder if that's a mistake in the metadata. Pre-order content sets. Oh, summer comedy sale as well. And then we've got, I think the latest sale, franchise sale in this new content set was Mission Impossible, because the new one is about to come out. But yeah, I already own them all. The story of my life in the Kaleidescape platform. Like if I go to special pricing and look for stuff that I don't own, let's sort by lowest price. Let's see what comes up here on sale. Yeah, Hot Tub Time Machine. Not a whole lot. Oh, Muppets. A couple things on my wish list. Should probably buy the Muppets. Family likes the Muppets a lot. A couple Disney titles. I really don't want to buy any of these Disney movies though until they get upgraded to 4K. So yeah, a little bit of both there. But content pricing is one thing that has gotten just better, consistently better over time. Particularly, I want to say in the last year with Kaleidescape, between the big sales, between the bundling discount stuff that they did, the weekly sales, there's always new stuff on sale every week. And yeah, as Matt said, yeah, content sets, the addition of content sets. We've been asking for, we were asking as owners for bundles for so long, right? And then we finally got those like premium bundles where if like you buy three or more movies from the set, then they're magically all like $6.99 a piece or whatever. But then then we got the content sets, and so which is basically permanent bundles, not quite as steep of a discount as the weekly promotional bundling might be, but at least these are available all the time. And so they keep adding them. More and more of these every week. I think we get at least a couple. So this is a good way to go if you're looking to fill up your library with K. I don't own this one. So purchase set $29.99 as opposed to $14.99 a movie. So was that $30.60, half off? Pretty nice. Everything else I own. Everything else I own. Otto says he got a Dune HD last week, making it maybe fellas. Yeah, it takes time. Yep, it takes time. Kaleidescape is the answer to that, for sure. Matt, yes. Do you know if they discount the sets if you own a couple of the movies already? I think they are. They are affected in some way. I think there's. Oh, is the Rocky? Where's Rocky? Oh, Creed. Yeah, this is one where I own. So here you go. I own Creed 1 and 2. I haven't bought Creed 3 yet. Complete your set for $24.80, but that's the price of the movie. So I'm not really getting a discount to complete my set then. $29.99, $24.80. So I think it depends a little bit. It might depend. I don't know if there's a difference as well. Like the less you own in the set, the better the offer might be. But I'm pretty sure I don't have another one. Twilight. I don't think I own the Twilight movies. I go. One of them I need to upgrade. It looks like. This is weird. Breaking Dawn is in here twice. I think there's a metadata error going on there. Complete your set for $19.99. That must be the upgrade price to get the 4K. That one looks a little messed up. Everything else I think I own. All the Transformers. They changed the posters. I'm happy for this as well. I like to see this. They do this on iTunes a lot. Digital movies get turned over with new posters, fresh looking posters. I generally like it. It is a bummer if you really like a certain set of posters and then that set goes away. But I like when they get updated. I don't think Star Trek. I don't think Star Trek posters. Yeah, these are still the old ones. These didn't get updated. I got all of these. So yeah, I don't think I have anything that I can really show how the discounts work. Game of Thrones. Entire series, HDR, Dolby Atmos, $125 as opposed to $30 a season. 30, 60, 90, 120, $240. Yeah, half off. All right, so that's that. We're at an hour and a half. Anybody have anything else on their mind? Any other questions? Kaleidescape stuff, calibration stuff. Anybody want to hear about these? I guess we didn't really get to these very much here this evening, but the video will be out tomorrow. I've been using them. Been using them for work, sitting here at my desk. Quite honestly, I think I just may not be. I'm probably going to end up talking louder if I leave these things on my head. I don't know. I may just not be a headphone person. So I talk about that a little in the video as well. After a couple hours, the weight was starting to get to me a little bit. And then I went to the gym with a indentation in my hair, in the back of my hair where the headband was sitting the whole morning on that one day. But they sound awesome. And the USB DAC, man, that's running these in USB DAC mode here off the laptop. Apple Music 24,192 with no additional hardware or DAC or anything else required, all built into the headphones, is a phenomenal feature. So I talk about that in the video coming tomorrow, and we'll chit chat about these a little more in future videos as well. All right, last call, last questions, last comments. Anything else on anybody's mind? We'll wrap her up here tonight. Always appreciative. If anybody wants to leave any super thanks, super chats on the way out, feel free. Not mandatory by any means. And yeah, my next order of business, well, we'll be busy for the next few days, but hopefully into the beginning of next week, actually get some time on the newly calibrated projector. And hey, when the time comes and the NX7 is offered up for sale, because I decided to upgrade, I can now sell a fully calibrated projector, professionally fully calibrated projector. So that's pretty cool too for the next owner, wherever it may go. All right, so let's see here. We've got the what am I looking for? We've got Bathys review tomorrow. Oh, I've got a review, or I've got an updated video coming soon. I know I've had the video for a while that's gone stale, talking about the Apple TV developer menu and accessing the HUDs. And I've had a bunch of folks message me and say, hey, I installed the beta, but I can't find the Apple TV developer menu. Well, it went away. It's not just available in the betas anymore. So I got a video coming out here pretty quick on that, actually showing what it takes to get access to the debug info, the playback HUD on the Apple TV, how to register your system using Xcode and all that. I filmed another one talking about like JVC projector zoom, trying to break down a couple specific topics that I've discussed, or made mention about in the past that people have asked about in the coming content, and more coming up. So stay tuned. I just had a really fun consulting call on Monday. We actually ended up talking, I think, for about 2 hours. Gave a whole bunch of advice. So anybody out there that's looking for some help with your systems, you want some advice, some guidance, a sounding board, some home theater therapy, so to speak, I'm booking those appointments as well. So go to jeremypyle.com and reach out there. We just had Otto popped in a super chat there. Thank you so much. Yay. Very much appreciate it. Oh, and Julius popping in. Yeah, it was kind of a last minute announcement, but I'll say again. So the last housekeeping message: Wednesday nights, the next few weeks will be Wednesday at 10 o'clock. I will not be able to stream on the weekends for the pretty much for the summer. I think coming up, we've got a lot of activities going on. We've got a fun weekend ahead this weekend, and then we got spending some time in Kentucky, and then Audio Advice Live weekend coming up. And I'm sure we'll even do a few more things. So more than likely, we'll be looking at Wednesday nights, Techthusiasm lives, 10 p.m. Eastern time. And at 10 p.m. at night, the kids are all in bed, so you get to see my messy office background that will someday be a comic book display. I hope. Don't know when. But that's it. Let's call it. Thanks so much for watching. Again, please do all that regular YouTube stuff. As always, hit the like button on the way out. Leave some comments, share the video if you think it could be useful to anybody. And of course, if you'd like to support the channel, always super appreciative of that. We've got Amazon Prime shopping days coming up. I think next week is the 2 Prime days. I'll have to spend some time looking at that. Amazon affiliate links, buy your stuff from Audio Advice. We talked a lot about Kaleidescape. Remember to use, if you're registering a new account, use the referral code, not only just for my benefit, but you get $100 of movie store credit as well. And yeah, shopping on Audio Advice, a really great company, a really nice affiliate program, is one of the best ways to see a lot more stuff come through the channel. So thanks so much for watching, everybody, and we'll be back very soon. Bye.